Hi, I'm Joe Roth. At New Jersey Sharing Network, we're committed to saving and enhancing people's lives through organ and tissue donation and informing people about our life-saving mission. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities. MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey. New Jersey Sharing Network, dedicated to saving lives through organ and tissue donation. Fedway Associates. The Fidelco Group. And by United Airlines. Promotional support provided by The Record, North Jersey's trusted source, and NorthJersey.com. And by Commerce Magazine.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Steve Adubato here. We're at the Community Foodbank of New Jersey annual fundraiser. It's a big night. It's a great night. I was thrilled to be able to host tonight. But it's more than just an annual fundraiser. Check this out, the cover of the event tonight, the program. 40 years, 600 million pounds of food distributed. Millions of lives touched. One woman. So who is that woman? Kathleen DiChiara. 40 years of making a difference. She's stepping down. They say she's retiring. We'll see. But tonight we honor her. She's been at it for a long time. She's joined us so many times on public television talking about those who are struggling with issues of hunger, who are suffering. And Kathleen has dedicated her life to helping those people. So tonight we honor her. Tonight we honor the work of the Community Food Bank. And so we talked to some wonderful people who came here to raise money, to raise their hands and raise their glasses and to celebrate Kathleen DiChiara and a terrific night. The Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Food, help, hope. Special night for a special woman. Check out what some people had to say. An important event like this, the Community Food Bank of New Jersey honoring our great friend Kathleen DiChiara after 40 years of service, would not be official without our great friend, the Honorable Governor Tom Kean. Governor, this organization, how special?
Very, very special. I mean, this started out of a station wagon. Just absolutely incredible what she's done and what she's spilled out. Let me tell you something. When I was governor, I thought about her. She could run any cabinet department she chose, easily. And she decided to stay here. She said, this is what I do.
Is she what New Jersey is all about, the best of who we are?
Not only New Jersey, she's the best of who we are, period. I mean, she's taken her whole life, dedicated to other people, made sure that people had enough to eat and never big enough, always expanding, and never took her eye off the ball. All those years, she never, ever took her eye off the ball.
What would you say to all folks watching in the public television audience, and you've been so supportive of public television as well, if they say, hey, that's great that they're doing that at the Community Food Bank, but what does that have to do with me? What can I do to make a difference? What would you say to them, Governor?
Help. You can donate food, you can donate money, you can donate all sorts of things, as her work is not completed, as she will tell you herself. She told me the other day, she said, you know, some of the people who used to donate food to me are now my customers. Now that's sobering. That's sobering. We're not in good shape in this country right now. There are a lot of hungry people. And she's retiring, but we're not retiring. I mean, we still have to help her out a lot. And anybody listening, donate, please, or help.
Wendy, Josh, let me ask you, tonight is a big night. You're the co-chair of tonight, right, Wendy? What makes tonight such a big deal?
We're honoring Kathleen. It's an unbelievable legacy, and she's just a special and incredible person, so it's just wonderful to pay tribute to her.
Josh, we've just talked to Governor Tom Kean. He was talking about what makes her so great. As the incoming chair, you tell us of this organization, what has made Kathleen DiChiara so terrific?
Kathleen is amazing because she is so powerful on so many levels. So lots of folks are entrepreneurial or caring. Kathleen really has internalized the problem of hunger and has driven her message, and she has reached out and got other folks to join, and has not stopped fighting for a single day in the last 35 years, and she's truly a hero. She's truly amazing.
Well, let me ask you something. I'm curious about this. So many people are here tonight, so many people giving, supporting. It's not easy in the not-for-profit world to get people to kick in and contribute. And I'm not saying it's easy tonight, but I see a lot of folks, some heavy hitters lining up. Why is that?
Well, part of it's for Kathleen. It's hard to say no to Kathleen ever, but this is really to honor Kathleen and what she has created.
Describe what she's created.
She's created hope for people who are hungry, who are poor, and we're part of her vision to bring that to New Jersey and bring hope and hopefully try to solve some of these issues that have been around way too long.
It's interesting. Other people were telling us that Kathleen couldn't imagine. I think it was Bob Doherty who said to us that she had said to him, Kathleen had said she couldn't imagine that in 2015 we would still be dealing with this, that it would somehow be solved, the problem of hunger. We're here, 2015.
Well, I'm gonna attack that from a different place. Kathleen has always talked to us about, the problem we're working on in many ways is insurmountable, and it's easy to become I'm going to say hopeless in a way of trying to solve this problem. And Kathleen said it starts with hunger, and it begins there, and you keep chipping away. And so we never are at a loss for what to do. It's like one foot in front.
There's always a need.
There's always a need. And what Kathleen has done, which has been amazing, is she has helped to raise awareness at every level. And you're asking about why big donors, little donors, why grassroots, why we're connected to this. It's because she has really brought this problem to everyone in a way that they can internalize and understand it, and then you can't ignore it. And that's what she's really been amazing at doing.
We're here with Matt Knott from a great organization called Feeding America. Matt, tell folks what your organization does and how it's connected to a night like this.
Sure. Feeding America is the nation's food bank network, and so we have 200 food bank members in states all across the United States, from Maine to Hawaii, from Puerto Rico to Alaska. Great organizations like the Community Food Bank of New Jersey that are fighting hunger through food banking.
What makes this organization, I mean, there's so many food banks across this country, as you just described. What makes this one special, different?
Well, truly a great leader like Kathleen DiChiara. And Kathleen, I think, is an innovator from the very beginning of the food bank here, and has built model programs that she is sharing with other food bankers across the United States.
For instance, I mean, it's one thing to say she's an innovator, and those of us who know her know what that means. But for folks who may not know in the tri-state region watching, what does that mean?
Well, I think it means that she has always had a curiosity about better ways to fight hunger from the very get-go, from the time that she began distributing groceries out of the back of her station wagon in 1975 to today, operating one of the biggest and best food banks in the United States. She's also innovated through model programs like community kitchens that not only provide food for people, but provide essential job training so that people can provide food for themselves. And those are the kinds of the programs that we have modeled in other parts of the United States.
Kathleen, let me ask you, 40 years of making a difference in the lives of others, being honored tonight, the Community Food Bank, the organization your heart and soul has been in from the beginning. What's this night mean to you?
I'm a little overwhelmed. It's such an amazing opportunity to see so many people that I've worked with through the years, and to thank everyone.
What do you mean to thank them? They're thanking you.
No, but I'm going to use it as an opportunity to thank so many people that made possible what I do. I never was alone. Whether it was my husband helping out my kids, so many people through the years made possible what I did. They opened doors for me, so I have a lot of thank yous tonight to give.
You know, it's interesting. Kathleen has been with us so many times on public television. She's been a friend of public broadcasting, and we've told the story, but I'm not going to assume that you know it. I'm going to ask Kathleen to talk about it. It was 1975, as the story goes, out of the back of her station wagon. What happened out of the back of that station wagon?
Well, that was at a time that I was involved in some world hunger activities. And one day I looked down and said, you know what, where my feet are planted are part of the world. I wonder if there's hungry people here. So I started giving out my home phone number everywhere I could think of. And that's how it began. And I kept seeing opportunities and possibilities.
What did you see?
So, well, I saw that we had this great amount of food being wasted. At the same time, we had so many people going hungry. And I also found that there was another kind of hunger out there, and that was almost a spiritual hunger on the part of good people. They wanted to help, but they didn't know how or where, and I felt I could be that connector. And it was sort of day at a time. If someone had asked me at that time, are you ready to devote the next 40 years of your life? I had 2 little kids. I was a suburban housewife. I probably would have said, oh my gosh, no, I'm just doing this. But it kept growing and growing.
So where we are right now, I mean, we're in Hillside, New Jersey. This is the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Put things in context. 40 years ago, Kathleen starts with just a couple of people, her husband, family, friends. Put in context how many people are served, how much food we are talking about, and the impact.
The difference between an I and the we that grew, I could probably, fill up my station wagon with, maybe 50 pounds of food. We're close to our end of our fiscal year, and we're going to be over 44 million pounds this year.
44 million pounds.
And we're reaching, through the many charities we work with, over 900,000 people annually.
How do people access the food bank?
Through the soup kitchens, through the emergency pantries at houses of worship, at community groups, at senior sites, at daycare centers, all the places where people in need turn for help. We try to be there with food.
Who are they, Kathleen?
They're people really just like you and me, but they are the senior citizens living on fixed incomes. They're the working poor who, with the cost of living in New Jersey, are having such a hard time with such a basic as food. And then there's the unemployed and those who may have disabilities. All of them put oftentimes food to the end of the line. Try first very hard to keep a roof over their head, but then food becomes the expendable when they have to choose between food and medicine, between food and housing. But they're our neighbors.
Most rewarding part of I know there's been frustration. It's been hard to raise money. As a nonprofit organizer, it's challenging for us in public broadcasting. I can't imagine how challenging it's been for you as well. But beyond the frustrations, the most rewarding part for you?
I get exposed to, through the years, such tremendous hurting that's out there that I tell everybody I'm not brave enough to say this many years, if that was all. I get the opportunity to get exposed to goodness, and a tremendous goodness on grassroots level.
There's a lot of it?
Yes, and I think back to my younger days, and at that point I thought I had a clear picture of good guys and bad guys. And perhaps if you were a corporation or you were a wealthy person, you maybe were in the bad guys. And if you were poor, you were the good guys. And what I learned over the years is those things don't define who's good, who's bad, whatever. There is goodness across all lines.
I want to congratulate you on behalf of everyone in the public broadcasting world for 40 years of making a difference in the lives of so many people who have such great need. Congratulations, Kathleen.
Oh, thank you, Steve. Thank you so much.
You've inspired me over and over along the way to get involved, and the people of New Jersey are much better off for having you around. We're going to miss you very much, but have a great night, and love you.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Steve Adubato here, more importantly, our friend Bob Doherty, Bank of America, one of the many supporters of the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, and our friend Kathleen DiChiara being honored. 40 years of extraordinary service. How'd you get connected to these folks, and why are you so committed?
I got connected through Bank of America, initially because the bank likes its market presence to be on various boards and be in the community. However, usually you might rotate a couple years, but now I've been into this 8 years, and a lot of that has to do with Kathleen. You can't go through the place or meet her and not want to get involved somehow.
What is it about this place, the impact they make?
I think it's just that the mission is so visible. When you come here and you see the people that are working here and you see the people who are benefiting from it, you hear about 41 million pounds of food being distributed last year, you just can't help but realize there are so many people in our state, in such a wealthy state, that really lack the basic and have basic needs that are unmet.
What responsibility do you think the corporate community has to support organizations like the Community Food Bank of New Jersey?
I think we've got a big responsibility. I think that this is the place where we're doing business and we're making our money and we're making our lives, and we've got to give back. Not only do we
have to give back?
Yeah, I think we've got to give back. I think that we just can't do it alone from a governmental standpoint. We have to rely on organizations that can, people that can, groups that can get together and really move things forward.
From your perspective, healthcare organization, Barnabas Health, and folks who know public television know that Barnabas Health has been very supportive of not just what we do, but the work that Kathleen is doing as well. How great is the need?
I'm going to tell you a story because you'll see how the need gets amplified. She knew that I was in charge of the warehouse for Barnabas Health. She said, "Do you have anything in the warehouse that we might be able to use?" I should have known better. The next thing I do, a truck pulls up. She takes half of what's in the warehouse and comes back a second time. Desks, chairs, things. So she moved not only from food to furniture, to clothing. She's in the words of the Jewish people, she's a female mensch. She is amazing. God bless her.
We're here with one of the great friends of public broadcasting, particularly NJTV, Senator Tom Kean. Senator, Community Food Bank of New Jersey means what?
Well, it's an institution. It's a place where people know that they can always go for help. It's people who have really a nationwide brand of service, and it's because of the great organization they built and the community ties they've built, and the insights they've provided, they've really been an important institution for all people who call New Jersey home.
Hunger, food insecurity. How important an issue in the state of New Jersey you've been dealing with? You've talked about it with your Democratic colleagues as well.
We have. It's actually an increasing issue from both affordability of food, accessibility of fresh produce, of food desert issue is another issue that impacts this. But I did the hunger challenge and the food stamp challenge, and it was nothing compared to what an individual who truly has to live and breathe and on a de minimis amount of money over a period of time experiences. But we in the legislature, and I think citizens around the state, because of the efforts of the food bank, are recognizing that this is such an extensive problem that exists, but also because it exists, that we can actually do something about it, whether it be through a government operation, a nonprofit operation, a for-profit operation, family to family, through their service centers, and through the religious institutions. That's the type of insight that the Community Food Bank provided for so many people, that you can actually do something about it on a partnership basis.
Linda, I was just saying to you that we see each other at least once or twice a week at some important event that's making a difference in the lives of others, which is not about us, it's about the organizations. But this event, the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, and Kathleen DiChiara, what makes this one so special?
Oh, boy, I'll tell you. I think, well, first of all, the obvious. I mean, they have built this place into a powerhouse, feeding thousands of people in New Jersey, which is incredible. But I think the backstory, Steve, is so impressive. You know, we're all here to honor Kathleen. She's retiring. As you know, she started this from, I think, the back of her station wagon.
1975.
1975, so you're well aware. And she was just a woman with a dream and a vision. And if there's one person in New Jersey who has really proven that old adage that one person can make a difference, it is Kathleen. There's no question. So I think everyone is here to honor her. And she's so humble. I know she probably doesn't even want this, but this is her night. She has made an enormous difference in New Jersey and in the lives of many, many people.
Mary, let me ask you something. This is your community. You know Kathleen DiChiara. You know this organization. Why are they such an important part of this community?
The Community Food Bank has been an institution in Hillside. It's a quiet gem. Not only does it impact our residents, but all throughout the state. So what it does is it penetrates so much of the good that people really want to see in the communities. When it's a tragedy, the Community Food Bank is here. When it's a celebration, the Community Food Bank can be here. And it's all from the vision of our wonderful leader, who we will miss, but we will make sure that we have her with us every day when we come down to the Community Food Bank in Hillside.
Hillside's an interesting community. It's a diverse community. It's a community with need. It's right outside of the city of Newark. Who is served by this food bank in your community?
We actually have a very, very dynamic church, the First Baptist Church of Hillside, which actually partners with the Community Food Bank every Sunday and actually every week, and provides residents and also just far and near with food resources, and not just not a meal, a hot meal, but they actually bring food so that their families and their children will be able to be provided for. So it's such a unique, again, location that is here in Hillside, but the church benefits from the services every single week.
Mary, do you think most folks either don't realize or don't want to think about those who are going hungry?
A lot of people really don't realize that a lot of times it's your neighbors. A lot of times it's someone who might be right next door. And I think the tragedy was most evident when we had the rainstorm, or when we had Sandy, and we realized that it was around Thanksgiving, and a lot of people they lived paycheck to paycheck. But what was so surreal for us was that when we started going door to door, it wasn't just seniors, but it was everyday people who didn't have anything in their refrigerators. So it was the Community Food Bank in partnership with many of their amazing partners who came to the aid of so many everyday people. So homelessness not only just impacts folks, but what you recognize, or hunger, but hunger impacts not only the people who are homeless, but also people who sometimes are living paycheck to paycheck. So it's something that is actually stretching into our communities a lot deeper and a lot more than we realize.
So it will be Kathleen DiChiara Way when you turn to the road into the Community Food Bank. So you will be with us every day. Thank you so very much. God bless you, and we love you.
Joe, we've just finished an extraordinary event honoring Kathleen DiChiara. This is after a great event. Your reaction to this night and why it's so special?
The night overall was a wonderful event. You and everyone did a great job preparing for it. There's no better person that we could have an event like this for. The Kathleen, what she's done in the community over the last 40 years, no one else has matched what she's done during that time, and very difficult bar for the next person who will try to follow her.
Real quick, as a leader in the corporate community, so much corporate support tonight. You've been on board for a long time. Why?
When I looked at an organization to join, I couldn't think of a better one that had more of an impact in the community every single day. And when I met Kathleen and when I saw what she was doing and what she had created here, I wanted to be a part of it.
We're here with our good friend, longtime friend Kevin Lewing, team at Berkeley. You and I were having a conversation on the phone the other day, and we were talking about what we're doing this week, and you said, hey, are you going to be at the Community Food Bank? I said, yeah, for Kathleen DiChiara, you as well. Why are you so supportive of this organization and this terrific woman?
Well, it's something I feel strong support for personally. Food and feeding the hungry really goes with education as part of the basics. And my first recollection of meeting Kathleen and really getting involved was about 10 years ago. I remember reading in the newspaper that they weren't getting the amount of turkeys they were looking for. And my mother had passed away a few months before that, and my thought was, you know what, my mother felt very strong about this as well. And so I called Kathleen on the phone, say, Kathleen, I saw your article in the newspaper. I'd like to make a large contribution in my mother's name towards the turkeys. She did say that, well, we did get a lot of phone calls, and you're not the only one, but she says, you know what, this is really important, and I want to do this, and I know my mother would be very happy to do this. And so that was my first introduction to Kathleen about 10 years ago.
Is that a big reason why so many people are here tonight? This is after the event, 40 years of service. Do you think why it's so packed tonight, Kevin?
No, it is. I mean, people are getting on board every day. And I mean, for me, it's been over 10 years, and I'm sure that
on this board
here,
being on board with these guys.
Right, being on board with the food bank, and I'm sure some people here tonight have been on board for 40 years. I wish I could have been there at the beginning, but I wasn't. But it's a great organization and a great cause.
Biggest impact she has made, what would you say it's been?
I mean, she unconditionally loves what she does, and I think that it emanates from her and through the culture of the organization. And although I've recently joined it, I'm thrilled to be part of it because I feel it, I see it. Everyone is passionate about the cause, and it's so very needed. And so everyone's doing what they can and play the part. It's really, although it's a community food bank, it's truly a community. And without everyone working together, it just wouldn't be there. And she's led the charge, and so it's terrific.
You can hear folks in the room. This is after the event tonight for Kathleen DiChiara. Michael, let me ask you, what's your feeling right now after such a great night like this?
You know, there's so few people that when you think about one person and how they impact, you know, just the community. I mean, I've lived in Jersey since '97. I've been part of the board since '08, and you know, here's a woman that just is completely selfless. You know, her family's here to celebrate, and she just makes the room light up. And, you know, you just think about giving back. I have 4 kids, and, you know, you can never give enough. And you see what this woman has done and how she's bettered people's lives. And, you know, if this is just even a small amount that people get a perspective of how much she's given, I think it's a wonderful night. It's a great night. It's a great woman to celebrate.
Finally, what message does it send to the rest of us who pale in comparison, but try to do our best?
You know, I think there's always room and time to give. And, you know, listen, every day is a blessing. And if you can just give back a little bit and make, you know, someone's life a little bit better, it's all good.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, PSE&G, MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey, New Jersey Sharing Network, Fedway Associates, the Fidelco Group, and by United Airlines. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
Choosing a new family doctor can be confusing. Check with your health insurer to see which physicians near you participate with your plan. Find out which hospitals the doctor uses and who covers when the doctor is away. And remember to schedule an appointment with your new doctor in advance to fill out any paperwork without the added stress of being sick.